Hello there. Greetings. It's the Schlock Father. I'm going to show you how we do Mayans around here. Mayans are the best archetype in the entire game. They won the most recent tournament on the second day. They are one of, if not the most represented archetype in the entire game, specifically Hun Hunahpu, Wellspring, or Hun Hunahpu, as you'll hear me pronounce his name. It does not take a genius to quickly realize why Mayans are the most powerful, the most raw and efficient of all the archetypes, at least from the first set. And they have a very good potential moving forward with or without additional support from the second set to still be among the top, if not the best archetype. It all starts around our avatar, Hun Hunahpu Wellspring. He is a Mayan avatar of the colors red and yellow. He has two abilities, both of which are very good. So I can pay 2 and return a Mayan champion from my graveyard to my hand. Mayans are an aggro deck, which means they specialize in the early game. But what people fail to realize is they constantly regurgitate aggro deck, aggro deck. Mayans also play mid-range and the long game really well. They're not so much a control deck, but through their raw combat expertise, that's their form of control. This ability alone makes it so any of these bevy of Mayans, with the exemption of a few cards, Greek, Egyptian, but any of these, it comes back. On a baseline level, you can run your Stargazers, which generate temporary influence or mana, into enemies, destroy them, and bring them back and slowly set up more mana ramp. That's just on a baseline level. On another baseline level, you could just bring back a very powerful 5-drop if you're actually able to kill it, or any one of these here fabled Mayans. It's ridiculous. His Rush 3 is game-altering and breaking. He doesn't need it, but the fact that it exists pushes the power threshold beyond anything else. He says, for 3 Ikorr, you can search your hand, deck, and graveyard for champions named Hunahpu and Zablanc. Summon 1 directly to the battlefield and add 1 to your hand, which would be these two here, Hunter Twin and Jaguar Twin. If you do not have either one of these cards, do not build this deck. It is sorely incomplete. You will still put up results, but without these, you are playing a neutered, half-baked version, I assure you. Now, to make things even worse, this game's hit rate is awful. This is an ultra rare. This is a rare. You could open up 4 or 5 boxes and still never see this. So yeah, it's worth $50 to $85 for a reason. It's a game changer. But let's get into the deck. First, with any yellow deck at all, we start off with Stargazer, but this does double duty because it is a Mayan, so we can return it to our hand. It has Mayan synergy. I have infused 1 with Foresight, so I look at the top card of the target player's deck, put it on the bottom if I want. Turn 1, if I do this, I'll look at my opponents and mess up their draw, or later on, I'll smooth my draws out. Same thing, I put Hermes Lear on this on every deck. The lower influence cost of a champion you can put this on, the better. Yellow has it the best because they're the only ones with a 0-drop. It says all champions get +1 raid. That includes himself. It's a no-brainer. Weed Farmer is the most busted thing to play on turn 1. It's not a Mayan. It doesn't matter. I put Fine Weapon on it in every deck because it makes your opponent have a punishment for attacking it. Otherwise, it's a no-brainer and they don't have to think. They just run stuff into it. Now, there's a punishment. Fierce Spearman. You'll note that it says Spirit. They never made an official update to notify anybody, but if you check the card gallery, it says it's a human warrior. That's because this was an errata and typo error, but they never made it apparent, so if you know, you know. If you don't, then I guess it just gets blown up by Gohei. But Gohei's not a legal target for this, so Gohei's good to put on this. 2/2 quick strike for 1 that raids for 1 is insane. That's why red is dumb. They have the best aggression in the game. I put Tactician on 1. If it attacks, something else can get raided. So he can kill something, and then you can use the 1 raid he could have raided for on something else. I decided on the other one to put Training. So at the end of the turn, I'm testing this out. It doesn't seem to be too great, but if I end my turn, if he attacked, I draw a card. 2/2 quick strike for 1 will do a lot of attacking. Mayans do a lot of attacking, so you got to keep that in mind. Next up, we have another 1-drop, 2/1. Raid 1 for 1 is decent. I put Roaring Aegeus on both. He makes it so my avatar's power costs 0. So if I play that, I can return a Mayan for free from my graveyard for that turn. Now, again, if you play him on turn 1, sometimes it happens and there's nothing to play. But you could return, oh, I don't know, something with Zolkin, which we'll get to. You can return Stargazer. You can return any of this. It's just insane value. Next, we have 2 copies of Industrious Farmer. It's a 1/2 raid 1. It comes in every starter deck, but it's a Mayan, so we play it. Put Gohei on 1, blow a spirit up. Since he's no longer a spirit, we only have 1 spirit it could hit. We're not worried about it. The other one, you need Zolkin. Otherwise, I don't recommend playing the deck, but you could, in theory. You want to infuse it on Industrious Farmer because it says if you have 2 other Mayans when you play this, you refresh 2 influence. You only paid 1 influence to play this, so you go +1 on influence. So yeah, it doesn't take a genius to know that with this and some amount of Stargazers, this could get really dumb on turn 1 hypothetically with 2 Stargazers, then you play this and then refresh and then dump your hand. And yeah, no deck can beat that. I'm just saying. I mean, they can, but likely not. It's dumb. You need it. You can destroy him, bring him back later with Hun Hunahpu, set up some good ramp. It's dumb. And it's refresh. So at any point in the game, it's good because these guys can't give you above 10. So late game, you can't go to 11, but this guy can refresh. That's different than gaining higher. Moving on. 2 Jaguar Priests. He is a 2/3 that raids for 1. He costs 2. It's just a decent stat line. You can, as an action, sack a champion, including himself. Target allied champion gains Quick Strike or Swift. Good utility. I put Ruler's Decree on him because the infusion pips were just right. All other Mayans get +1 raid. It's a no-brainer. It goes in every deck. It does triple, quadruple duty in this deck. I'm testing out Heroic Soul. When he dies, an allied champion gets +2 raid until the end of turn. I don't really like Heroic Soul, but he can force himself to sacrifice, so that has some merit. You can turn it on when you need, you know? Next, Claw Strike Warrior is just an amazing raid. It attacks turn 1, Fierce Spearman with Quick Strike. Turn 2 this, you have a board presence most other colors can't compete with. I put Tactician, +1 raid on an attack, and then on the other one, I put Leadership, +2 attack when he attacks. So one of them helps raid more if the field is light for your opponents. Otherwise, you just got to get a lot of attacks in. Time to kill. Servant of the Sun is a 2/3 raid 1 for 2. It's already good, but I put Sumptuous Cacao on it after Sumptuous Cacao got banned from Gunner. Here's the problem. Sumptuous Cacao needs banned. It seems fair. Let's read it. If a champion is a warrior, okay, it's restrictive. With an influence cost of 3 or less, okay. It has +1 attack, health, and raid. Under 95% to 99% of circumstances, if you have a warrior that's influence cost 3 or less, which, by the way, in the first set, there's not very many. This was meant to be put on Ashigaru Gunner, which was too powerful and got banned. What else are you going to put? There might be a corner case where you want Swift on something, but the fact that this makes it a 3/4 raid 2, Sumptuous Cacao needs banned because it makes any warrior with influence cost 3 or less a problem in design space. I'm not a game designer for this, but I know Sumptuous Cacao is problematic. You're either going to see Sumptuous Cacao get banned or more combos because this is just a dumb raid. Ashigaru Gunner was dumb. That's just slightly less dumb. Starry Deer Crocodile used to be part of that infinite combo with the Blessings of Osiris or whatever loop with the salt block, but it's probably going to get cut someday, but I just play it because it's a Mayan. I put Infiltration on both. It pops a location back and does not specify target, so it gets around anti-targeting. It's a good way to beat Pyramid, so that way they have to reset the tempo. Otherwise, it's kind of eh. When it enters, you can sack any number of champions and refresh influence. It's mainly in there if you don't have any enemies, any opponent. You want to sack these, I guess, to get influence again. I don't know. It's in there for the infiltration, and you can... Okay, let me tell you the real tech. You play it, you infiltrate, you sack itself, and then you can use his ability to put it back in your hand. You replay it, infiltrate, so that way Pyramid never really takes off too much. You see what I'm saying in theory? Swift Messenger, he draws 2, Swift on enter, 2/2 raid 1, pretty much in every deck. You can put Curious Relic on it and draw 5 and put 2 back on top. I respect the guy in the Discord for saying that, and I do play it in one deck. But because Mayans are so combat efficient, I love the raw power of just more combat presence. Quick Strike. I'm going to be humble and admit it. I took your advice from the guy in the Discord and tried out Niobe Sulking Stone because Mayans are so low to the ground and powerful that making all cards cost 1 more is more of a detriment to my opponent than me. But the main thing is a 1/5 raid 1 for 3 is just dumb. It's so hard for opponents to beat. And yes, the nuts of having 2 Stargazers on turn 1 with that is possible, and then your opponent will not win. I promise. The next set of cards, 2 sets of cards, you will play 2 of these in every Mayan deck so far. Jaguar Warrior and Jaguar Champion. Those are just your big bombs that are not fabled. Quick Strike Swift 2, 4 for 4, Raid 2. That's tough to beat. If he destroys a thing by battle, he can attack again. So you put Rubber Ball on him because there's nothing else worth putting Rubber Ball on. He attacks twice, survives twice, draw 2 cards. You win. That's card advantage. These guys are huge. 3-5 Raid 2 Quick Strike Swift. Dude, like if he destroys a champion by battle, all warriors get 1 raid and attack. It just trickles. It just sweeps the whole board. It just speaks for itself. Bomb. I put my second Gohei on him. It's kind of a high cost, so I can see the logic against it, but you got to think about it. Spirits can come up at any point in this game. If all you ever do is put Gohei on your wheat farmers, then you're going to play your wheat farmers early when you have to play them to raid and there's no spirits to hit. Whereas this can be like, oh, cluttered board, boom, destroy a spirit, quick strike, swift, bang, destroy another thing. 2 for 1. I put Ahal's headdress on him. You can't attack this guy. That's annoying. I'll always have a Mayan. He is a Mayan. You could get away with running 1. I just love the redundancy of 2. This dude's name, I believe, is Iwa, but I say Ixwack. He's a 3-6 raid, 2 for 5, insane stat line. All my other Mayans have +1 raid, and you can't attack him as long as I have another Mayan warrior. Dumb. Chances are I do. I play 2, so if you finally kill him, now you gotta deal with it again. I originally played 2 copies of the Twins, but you only need 1 of each, and I'll explain why. It's because of the rush. You can play them from your hand for free if you get it, but you need 1 of each, and I'll explain why. So the Ultra Rare. 5-7 raid, 2 for 8. If Zablanc is out on the battlefield, it only costs 6. If he's out on the battlefield, Zablanc only costs 6. They're, twins. They're brothers. He supports Zablanc, so if he's out when Zablanc's out, you can use his 5 attack to put onto his, and he can hit for 12 with Quick Strike. That's crazy. It says, once per turn when another Mayan strikes an opposing champion, it deals 1 damage to all opposing champions. So yeah, if it wasn't good enough that you were just striking them and killing them for 12 Quick Strike with the support, just do 1 damage to all their other nerds and trim their whole field. So here's the question. When you rush, which one do you put on the battlefield? And should you rush? When should you rush? Because most of the time when you spam out to 3 on the second or third, sorry, not the second, usually like the 3rd turn, you want to rush immediately with Hunahpu because Zablanc will lock the battlefield down. But I always recommend 9 out of 10 times, or 8 out of 10 times more likely, to put Zablanc into play. Because he has Swift and Quick Strike, and with a 7 attack Swift and Quick Strike, most things in the game, by the point that this guy comes down, or even mid to late game, they can't survive it. If your opponent played a Yum Samil, and then you slam this with his rush as a follow-up, you will kill Yum because Yum only has 6 toughness. There are a few things that can survive this. Maybe like that Fox lady that cost 8 or 9 that no one really plays. But remember, you rushed this guy out, or you played him for 6 because you rushed him out. But the reason I don't recommend rushing him out is because you need him first in order to use the support. And this ability down here, while good, just feels like win more. This wins you the game, reduces him, and then that locks the game down. So if you don't know which one to pick, safe pick is usually slam Zablanc, kill a threat. Personal choice, I play Chalk Rainbringer because I like Chalk, and he's a Mayan. You don't need him in this deck because this deck is so low to the ground, you'll never play Chalk. You'll slam these guys early and win, or you'll just swarm out early and you'll never need to rush because you'll just secure enough quickly enough to win before you need to pay 3 to rush. But I just personally know that the games can go long. Sometimes my friend and I 1v1 play to 15. That's just a personal thing. And I think that because a game can go long, Chalk is really good at just pushing that finish. Same reason why I run 2 copies at the great end. Even though Mayans win way before you'll ever need this, the fact that you are in colors to play the one-sided board wipe is so enticing to me that if the game goes late, I will win the late game most of the time still. Because if my guys are being trimmed up or you keep going 1 for 1 with me, late game we lock it up. We chalk, great end. Other than that, I play 2 copies of Burn Incense Ritual. It's dumb that this is a rare. This should be an uncommon because it's a utility card. Put any card from your graveyard into your hand, and it costs 1 less this turn. Do I need to explain this? It's not reanimation, but it's basically his ability, but for everything, regardless if it's a Mayan or not. If you put a 1-drop in your hand, it costs 1 less. So you can bring an Industrious Farmer back, play it for 0 with 2 things. Refresh to Influence. Yeah, now you go on +2. It recurs anything. It can recur a board wipe. It can recur a reanimation spell, removal. It goes without saying. It's really dumb. And it's on theme. I don't hear anyone talk about Heat Lightning at all. I assume people play this. It says 2 damage to each of up to 3 champions. This is 3 for 1 potential. If you can get 3 kills with this, you almost will win any card game, card advantage-wise, if you think about it. Otherwise, you got to think to yourself, a lot of the Mayans have Quick Strike. So if you do that and put 2 damage on 3 targets, the Quick Strikes will then be able to finish them off, and your Quick Strike stuff will survive. This is insane, though, that Mayans have the Mayan deck has the ability to play 2 copies of this, because this is a very large proponent and factor as to why they can go to the mid to late game is because they have Heat Lightning. They also have Divine Vengeance that can use gods, but make gods slap themselves, but it's kind of gimmicky. You could play the 5 reanimation, and I would probably think that you could cut a Great End and chalk and probably play the reanimation for 5 that brings back something temporary and it attacks. I just don't like that you have to sack it right away. Don't get me wrong. It's really good to be able to attack something, but I just think for 1 more influence, especially when we have Stargazer and the refresh gimmick, I just think that it's better to just pay 6 and get it back forever than to just pay 1 less and get it back for 1 turn. It's just not that good. It's just better. I don't know. Osiris Reborn is my favorite reanimation spell. I don't really like the other ones that much. I think that Burnt Incense Ritual is typically a better card than the 4-cost or 5-cost ones. Great End's a 1-sided board wipe. I just like being able to get there if I can get there. And as a utility thing, I think it's good to play a location, just if you can. I don't have any others, so I play Chichen Itza. It's really good. It's on theme. You can shuffle any card from your graveyard into your deck and draw a card. It's on theme with the recursion. You can recur the recursion. You can recur the removal. You can put the board wipe back. It's just dumb. Like, play Chichen Itza. I feel like some people opt out of this. I feel like you shouldn't. This is what's going to give you that mid to late game stretch. And, Mayans can sometimes be stunted. Believe it or not, with all this force of cards, sometimes Zeus just going shock, 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 or Artemis being able to, or just in general purple cards, doing damage. Heat Lightning is really good in the mirror. So you got to think. Chichen Itza, hey. That's Mayans. Mayans are dumb. I'm missing some cards like Eye of Ra and some other busted infusions, but the deck is mostly complete. As you can see, I'm not proxying any ultra rares that I would need. I'm just missing Eye of Ra and perhaps the reanimation infusion. So yeah, Mayans are crazy. That's it.